Good morning, everyone. This is Jeffy Kennedy, romantasy author of epic fantasy romance. I'm here with my first cup of coffee. Delicious. Today is, say it with me, people, it is Friday! Woohoo! April 5th, 2024. Yesterday was 4/4/24, so you're lucky I didn't do a podcast and obsess over all the fours, which is, of course, the number of order. Do you like the new intro? That's what I've settled on. Romantasy author of epic fantasy romance. Big umbrella, smaller umbrella. Uh, yeah, so I think that'll work. I'm working on that. If you're on video, you will see that I have wet spots on my amazing Taylor Swift jog bra. It's actually a form sports bra, but I think it's just going to be Taylor Swift to us now. They have no choice with this branding. Shout out to listener and mentee Jess Belmont, who messaged me that she went and got a Taylor Swift sports bra too, and that it is just as epically amazing as I promised. So I'm really not trying to scam up uh, affiliate money from this. I do have an affiliate link in my show notes just because. Why not? But I mean, you don't have to use it if that makes you feel weird. I get like, I don't know, $10 and you get 10% off, something like that. I'm just really happy that everybody agrees that these are like the most epic. It's this posture correcting sports bra. I'm sorry, guys, those of you out there who do not have to wear this sort of thing. Maybe they make them for men though, because everyone needs to correct their posture. It is just the best thing ever, and I'm just so excited that Jess got one and is so happy with it too. So, anyway, that's not what this podcast is about. All evidence to the contrary. What I want to about today is a few things. I want to talk about traditional publishing deals, and I also and also being part of the community. I have several things that I want to respond to. So, where to begin? Where to begin? I'm going to begin with this. If you're on video too, I must be like a little bit more canted than usual. I'm going to move this so you don't see all my crap in the corner, which is normally behind the door, because usually my door is open when I'm not recording, and so you can't see those things. But you still can see this box of Lush bath products. Uh, because the fantabulous Kate Baker, executive director of SIFWA, Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers Association, if you do not know of which I'm president, she sent me this really nice box of yummy smelling soaps and bath bombs from Lush, and reminding me that I'm supposed to be taking care of myself. And it was just, oh look, I get a little verklempt. It was just a really nice thing for her to do. And I just quote tweeted something on quote threaded. What do we call it on threads? We don't know. Uh, I like quote tweeted. Anyway, there was somebody posted something saying, "Dear firstborn daughters, you deserve to be taken care of too." So it's like I'm getting all these messages from the universe to take care of myself. Uh, there we go. All right. So there are a lot of people discovering that they're getting good engagement on threads, which is nice. It's nice to have conversations. There's one author in particular who's like on there every 10 minutes. I complained about it in one of my author discords. I'm like, is this person just like on threads nonstop these days? And someone else replied, yes. Was like, okay, then. And she said, no, seriously, I thought maybe it was the algorithm was just showing her to me all the time, which is exactly what I thought. And she said, so I went to look, and when she last posted 11 minutes ago. So I was like, okay, that's exactly what I did too. An interesting thing about that, though, is that uh, us trying to get wiser about why are we seeing the things that we're seeing, right? Because we understand that the algorithms in social media will quickly figure out what we're interested in, what we engage in, and they will show us more of that, which can be a negative thing, because if you go to look at some awful person doing some hot take, which this author isn't, but there's a lot of, oh, maybe I'll come back to it. But then it'll start showing you more of the awful hot takes, and then which leads to misery, obviously. So it's interesting to do this double check. It's like, if I'm seeing something pop up from someone all the time, and this is someone that I actually follow, is it because the algorithm is like, oh, you want to see everything this person says, which I don't. I really don't. And I know I can mute. I know I can block. I know I can unfollow. I think I'm not there yet, but sometimes it's just because the person is like ravenously all over this new source of engagement, which is what I think is going on. The problem with that is that it's kind of like someone being in love with the sound of their own voice, says she who has a podcast which is entirely about the sound of her own voice. Nevertheless, there are people who get really excited when they feel like they're building a social media following. They feel like they're being heard, that they have interesting things to say that people respond to. And so then they get on there and they do more of it and more of it and more of it. And pretty soon they're like commenting on every single thing. And this person was also giving not great advice. And you all know, you know me by now, right? Unless you're a first time listener, in which case you will learn. I hate it when people give bad advice. And a lot of times it's because their motivation is to get people to engage with them, right? Because they're, it's like, oh, people are listening to me, so I'm going to say more things. And they're not thinking about what they're saying. They're not thinking about the effects of their advice. So I want to talk a little bit about traditional publishing, because there have been a lot and lots of hot takes. I mean, God, it's an ongoing conversation, right? Actually, I'm going to step off just a bit to the side. I saw somebody post saying, could you please, I'm begging people, when you post a piece of advice, to please say what you are an author of, because advice for nonfiction writers doesn't apply to advice for fiction writers. And I really, really wanted to reply to this. When people say that I am indiscreet, my standard reply is, you have no idea how many things I don't say. I am so discreet. I am the soul of discretion, because there are so many things that I wisely do not type. So I really, really wanted to reply, but did not. I wanted to say, Google is your friend. So, but I am saying it here because I don't want to point out that particular person. I don't want to call them out. I understand the sentiment behind the request, but let me Google that for you, right? One of my favorite things, like I don't know if it's still out there, but there used to be like the little animation showing like how you go to Google and you type in the question into Google. Let me Google that information for you. I am going to, in turn, beg you all, and probably not you, because I feel like this is a preaching to the choir moment. But if you are, let's say, on threads, looking at author threads, looking at advice from the author community, it not only behooves you, what's the word I want? I feel like it's mandatory. You should be looking up these people. It is so simple to click on their profile. I click on people's profiles all the time. Who is this saying this? Very often their website is right there in the profile. You can click on that. It takes you 1 or 2 clicks to find out what this person writes, how much they've written, who they write for. It's really easy to figure out. And I'm going to give you a little pro tip just in case people don't know how to do this. This is what I do. Go to Amazon I'm sorry. Amazon has great metadata on this. It's part of why Amazon rules. Go to Amazon, type in their author name, go to their author page on Amazon. If they don't have one yet, that tells you something, right? Uh, pick out their most popular book. Usually Amazon will show that to you first. Their most popular book, that will tell you, right? Their most popular book, right? If their most popular book has 10 ratings, that tells you something, right? Uh, you can look at their most recent. Sometimes I look at their most recent book because that tells me how recently they have published, because sometimes their most recent book is 5 years old. It's like, okay, well, that's because you're spending all your time on threads, right? Instead of actually writing your freaking books. But try just going to their most popular book, scroll down to the metadata, and there's the section where it gives all of the, like publication date and ISIN and the ISBN and so forth, and it'll show you their publisher. This is how you tell if someone is self-published or if they're traditionally published. If you don't recognize the name of the publisher, which will be right in there, guess what you can do? I want to hear it. Everyone shout it out. You can Google it. Yes. Copy paste. Copy that publisher name, paste it into Google, find out what that publishing house is. And I swear, like nobody's expected to know everything, but you are expected to do your research. So look up. If it says published by Amazon Services, it's self-published. Some self-publishers create a company name. Mine is Brightlinks Publishing. I did that a long time ago for reasons. Because I started it that way, I've just kept going it that way. Some people do it to disguise the fact that they're indie. It really doesn't matter. But paste that into Google, find out what it is. Sometimes it's some obscure imprint. I'm surprised because I'll be like running bets with myself. I'll be thinking, oh, that's their made up publishing house name. And it'll turn out to be, like some obscure imprint of Macmillan or something like that. And then I will have learned something, right? It's like, oh, now I'm familiar with this obscure imprint from Macmillan. Because you are wanting to be part of this business. You want to be part of this community. You want to be part of this ecosystem, whatever word you want to use for it. Even if you only ever want to self-publish, you should be familiar with who the big 5 publishing houses are, who the smaller presses are. You should have an idea of what all the avenues are. And if you see someone giving hot takes on threads, look them the fuck up. Don't expect people to hand you this information inside of the actual post, right? First of all, it's a lot to ask. Nobody's going to do it, right? Okay, no one's going to do that. Second of all, it takes you one click to look at their profile, where that information is. Also, you need to learn these things. You need to learn who people are in the community. It is not that big. It's actually quite small. It's small, it's insular, it's occasionally incestuous, and it is really good to know who people are, especially the ones who are out there giving advice. So, anytime you have an opportunity, anytime you have an opportunity to discover a piece of information about the ecosystem, about someone else in the writing community, that is great, because that is just, I don't know, more snowballs for your fort. It is fodder, it is food, it is ammunition. Knowledge is power, right? Let's just go with that. Knowledge is power. Come back to any opportunity to learn is a good one, right? I know it seems overwhelming at first, but it's the only way for it to become less overwhelming is for you to begin to educate yourself, right? Look people up. Look them up all the time. Let's talk about traditional publishing. So there's this whole idea of math, right? And people giving advice on how math does and does not work. One thing that's really funny about self-publishing authors is that they occasionally will post things about the magic of percentages, uh, which is sort of like, I don't. I'm gonna sound condescending, but they'll be like, "You have to understand how percentages work," and I'm like, "Well, didn't we discover the joy of percentages in like fifth grade, somewhere around there?" Um, yeah. The thing is that when people are trying to discuss how math works between the percentages that you get as a self-publisher versus as a traditional publisher, they're often not getting all the details right. But I'm going to focus, I'm not going to go into the math. I'm not going to talk about the joy of percentages. Uh, I, okay, I'm going to talk one little piece about the joy of percentages that people like to trot out a whole lot, is that they will say, look, if you self-publish on Amazon, you get 70% of the royalties. Whereas if you traditionally publish, you only get 10 to 12% of the royalties. Therefore, you make more money self-publishing. And that is what do we call it? You all will probably have the word for me. It's a false correlation. Okay. It's saying, oh, because the number 70 is bigger than the number 10, therefore there's more money. And that eliminates a whole lot of other information, both quantitative and qualitative. So whenever somebody tries to tell you, well, obviously 70% is better than 10%, they've just outed themselves as having no idea what they're talking about. The piece that I want to discuss with you is when people are talking about traditional publishing deals. And a lot of this has come from people saying, well, if you get a $100,000 advance for a 3-book deal over 3 years, then it works out to, excuse me, I'm getting choked up talking about it. It works out to less than minimum wage. And I kind of want to say to that, well, welcome to being a creative. Being a creative, people figure out very early on that you cannot figure out your hourly wage. You are not being paid to lift crates or bag groceries. You are creative, and your time is not going to be figurable as an hourly wage. It's good to be aware of what your time is worth, but the math doesn't always math, right? So the things that get left out, that's what I want to talk about, and I'm almost out of time. What's really important to remember on those is that not all deals are 3-book deals. One reason why I'm really happy with my Tor Bramble deal is I got $100,000 for 2 books, okay, which is considerably better. Pay attention to how many books people have sold. Also, we could say, well, that's for 2 years. I'm fortunate to be prolific. I am smart to be hybrid. Writing those 2 books, one of which is already written, right? Which happens a lot. So, basically I've gotten paid a big chunk. I got a third of the advance upon signing for a book that I've already written. So it's, that's money in my pocket now. And yes, it's important to remember that out of that, let's say $100,000, that yes, you pay 15% to your agent for making the deal for you. And I saw somebody posting also, probably this Threads thing will go down and I'll stop talking about Threads all the time. But somebody was saying, well, why not just get a literary lawyer? Please, authors who have agents, tell me why I should do this otherwise. And again, I want to say, well, let me Google that for you. Do a little frickin' research, people. There's a lot of reasons to have an agent. If you all really want me to talk about that on the podcast, I will. Maybe I'll make a note of it. But a literary lawyer isn't the same thing. Some people use them. We're not going to go there right now. And then you have to pay taxes, right? You have to pay taxes on everything. I'm sorry if that's news to you. Everybody pays taxes on all the money that they make, whether you bag groceries or whether you write books. That's just a thing. But see, the other thing is that with this deal, it's 2 books. I can write other books during that time. The people who really complain about this, like getting $100,000 for 3 books for 3 years, and so they immediately take it down to, you're only making $33,000 a year, less than that if you take the 15% off of the top. It's like, well, you don't get to just sit around and watch soaps and eat bonbons. You can write other books in that time. You could sell other deals. You can self-publish. And I'm sorry if that's not what you want to do. Maybe it's not the life for you. Maybe it's not the career for you, because it is a hustle. And most full-time authors, if you are not in the stratosphere, you are hustling. You're hustling all the time. And if that's not for you, complete sympathy, but then don't do it, right? Don't tell us that we need to go back to the publishers and tell them to pay us more money, because, I have news for you there. It ain't going to happen. The other thing that I want to point out is that with this deal from Tor, that they're bringing these books out in hardback. They're in hardcover, and they're giving it great placement. And I am super excited about that. And no, not everybody gets that, which is I've never gotten it before, which is why it's exciting for me. But putting books out in hardback and getting distribution the way they're going to distribute these books, that is not something I could have done as an indie. So I think I'll leave it there for today. Ask me questions. Let me know if you want me to clarify things for like Monday's podcast or next Friday. I'm happy to do that. Actually, next Friday's podcast will be recorded at Eastern New Mexico University, right? Down in lovely Portales, where I will be for the Jack Williamson lectureship. So that'll be fun. All right. I am going to, maybe we'll do like an interview thing. What do you think? John, you want to do a back and forth conversation? That could be fun. We could get Kelly Robson in there too. All right. I'm going to go get to work. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you all on Monday. You all take care. Bye-bye.